In the Premier League, we're obsessed with who has the most points, but points don't tell the whole story. We're told that to win you have to spend, and to survive you have to outspend your rivals. But what if the league table is lying to you about who is actually the best at football? Today we're looking at the Premier League through a different lens: financial efficiency. We aren't just looking at who won, we're looking at who got the most bang for their buck. Is a point earned by a £1 billion squad like Manchester City really worth the same as a point earned by a budget-friendly squad like Fulham? To find out, I've built the cost per point table for the 2024-25 season, and the results are going to change the way you look at the Big Six forever. Before we count down from 20 to 1, you need to know how I worked this out. First, I took every team's squad market value from Transfer Market from August 15th, 2024, the very start of the season. This represents the market price of the talent each manager had on day one. I converted these from euros to pounds at a rate of 0.87 to keep things accurate for the UK market. I then took their final points from the 24-25 season and divided the value by the points to get the pound per point. But I went a step further. I've added a Z-score metric to the table. In statistics, a Z-score tells us how far away the team is from a league average. So the average cost for a point last season was roughly £9.7 million. If a team has a Z-score of 0, they're perfectly average. If they have a negative score, they are efficient outliers, as they're getting their points very cheaply. If they have a high positive score, like 2.0, they're statistically massive overspenders compared to everyone else. Let's see where your team has landed. The countdown 20 to 6. Starting at the bottom, the most wasteful teams in the league. At number 20 we have Manchester United. They spent a staggering £18.51 million for every single point they earned, giving them a Z-score of 2.02. Just behind them at 19 is Tottenham, also at £18.47 million per point. These two aren't just inefficient, they're statistically the biggest money pits in the country. Moving up, Manchester City lands at 18. They paid £16.17 million per point. Chelsea is 17th at £14.37 million, and Arsenal is 16th at £13.75 million per point. This is the elite zone where points are most expensive. Into the mid-table of efficiency, Southampton is at 15 with £12.06 million per point, followed by West Ham at 14 with £11.36 million per point. Liverpool is the most efficient of the traditional giants, coming in at 13th with £9.59 million per point and a Z-score of almost exactly 0. They are the benchmark for a big club. Newcastle is 12th at 8.69 and Aston Villa is 11th at 8.55. Brighton, usually the kings of data, are actually 10th this year at 7.92 million per point. Rounding at the top 10, Wolves at 9, 7.5 million per point. Ipswich Town at 8 with 7.42. Crystal Palace at 7, 7.17, and Brentford at 6, spending 6.34 million per point. The top 5, the masters of the market. Now for the top 5, the teams that made the rest of the league look like they're burning cash. This is potentially the gold standard of the Premier League. These 5 clubs operated with a level of financial precision that puts the traditional giants to shame. Coming in at number 5 is Everton, with a cost of just 5.87 million per point. What makes Everton's presence here so impressive is the context of their season. Dealing with the shadow of potential point deductions and a squad value that's been steadily trimmed to meet financial regulations, Sean Dyche managed to squeeze every drop of value out of a squad worth just £281 million. They didn't have a £1 billion bench, but their efficiency Z-score of minus 0.88 shows they are nearly an entire standard deviation better than the league average. Moving to number 4, we find Bournemouth at 5.45 million per point. Bournemouth is the ultimate Premier League mid-table masterclass. They started the season with a squad value of just over 300 million, roughly the price of 3 Chelsea midfielders, and converted it into a comfortable 56-point finish. Their Z-score of negative 0.98 puts them on the doorstep of statistical elite efficiency. They prove that you don't need a global brand to achieve stability. You just need a recruitment strategy that maps talent to points without overpaying for the name. In third place is Leicester City, and they are perhaps the most fascinating outlier in this entire data set. At 5.06 million per point, they are statistically ultra efficient, but this is where the data tells a tragic story. Because their starting squad value was so low, just 126 million, their efficiency was actually a symptom of underinvestment. They earned 25 points, which gave them a great bang for their buck ratio, but in the Premier League there's a flaw. Their Z-score of minus 1.07 shows they were operating far outside the norm, but they proved that you can actually be too efficient for your own good. If you don't spend enough money to reach the 35 to 40 point safety mark, the data doesn't care how cheap your points were once you're in the Championship. And our runners-up is Nottingham Forest, and this is a massive win for their recruitment team. Last season, Forest earned 65 points, a haul that saw them pushing for European spots, with a starting squad value of only 316 million. That breaks down to just 4.87 million per point, with a Z-score of negative 1.11. Forest is one of the few in our elite overperformer bracket. While other clubs around them in the table were spending 10 million or 12 million for the same result, Forest was essentially getting 2 points for the price of 1 compared to the league average. And finally, we reach our efficiency champions, Fulham. At the start of the season, Fulham's squad was valued at a modest 243 million, ranking them in the bottom half of the league for total value. Yet they delivered a good 54-point season, resulting in a league best £4.5 million per point. Their Z-score is a staggering negative 1.2. To put that into perspective, Fulham was as far away from the average spend as Manchester City is on the opposite side of the scale. They are the ultimate proof that scouting, coaching and squad cohesion can overcome a £500 million deficit in resources. They didn't just play well, they broke the financial curve of the Premier League. So what does this actually tell us? Let's look at the gap between our number 1, Fulham, and one of the Premier League's most successful clubs, Manchester City. City won more games, sure, but they paid 11.6 million more for every single point than Fulham did. If Fulham had City's budget, they'd be expecting to win the league 3 times over. If City had Fulham's efficiency, they would have won the title with a squad worth only 319 million. The Z-scores tell a real story. Manchester United and Tottenham are sitting at a positive 2.02. Anything over 2 is a bit of an outlier. it means their spending is almost impossible to justify given their results. They're paying the success tax without getting the success. The lesson? Having the most money is one thing, knowing how to use it is another. Statistically, Fulham is the best run club in England. If you want more data-driven football stories like this, hit subscribe. And check out some of my other videos, including data-driven digs into which league is the most exciting in Europe. And let me know if any of the rankings in today's videos surprise you in the comments below.